Hi everyone, in this video tutorial I'm going to show you how to crochet bag handles. It's my favorite way to do them because there's no extra ends to weave in and I really like how they turn out. So and you can do this with any stitch pattern that you want, any bag size, and I'm going to give you the formula that you need to calculate this for any bag that you want. Okay, so the formula to do this is to take your final stitch count and divide it by 2, and then take that number and subtract 20 or however many stitches you want to leave out in the middle. Then we take the remaining number and divide that by 2, and that will give us the number that we need to count over on each side of the bag so that the 20 stitches in the middle are centered. Okay, so then for this bag we had 96 stitches in the last round here, and we're going to divide that by 2, which is 48, and then so that gives us 48 stitches along the top here. Okay, and then it'll be 48 stitches on the bottom there. And so from the 48 we're going to minus 20 because we're going to mark off 20 stitches in the middle that we are not going to crochet into. Okay, and then so we're going to subtract 20 from 48, and that'll give us 28. So that'll be 28 stitches that are going to go on the sides here, and we're going to divide that by 2, which gives us 14 stitches on this side and 14 stitches on this side. Okay, so I'm just going to take a stitch marker here. I've got 5 stitch markers. Okay, and we're just going to mark off the first stitch that we're going to count as our 14 stitches. Okay, so that's the first one, and then we're going to count over 14 stitches, and then we're going to mark off the 15th stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so that's 14 stitches. We're going to move one over into the 15th stitch because this way we don't have to stop and remove the stitch marker, because we're not going to work into this stitch. Okay, and then we're just going to keep moving along this way, and we're going to count this stitch, and we're going to count over 20 stitches, and we're going to place another stitch marker. Okay, so this is 1, 2, so the marked stitch here is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so and that is stitch number 20, and we're going to put the marker into the 20th stitch. Okay, and these are the stitches that we are not going to work into. Okay, and now we're going to count over 28. So we're going to have 14 on this side, 14 on this side, for a total of 28. We're going to take our stitch marker, and we're not going to count this one. We're just going to start here. We're going to do 28. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 13. Okay, so that's 28. But we still want to work into the stitch, so we're going to place the marker into the 29th stitch here. Okay, and then once again we're just going to count this stitch, and we're going to count over 20 stitches that way. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we're going to mark off, put our marker into the 20th stitch. Okay, and if we did it right, we should have 14 stitches here. So we're just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's 14 stitches. And if you want to do a real quick check, you can just line it up again, and these markers in the middle here should line up fairly even. Okay, so now that you have it all marked off, now we can go ahead and remove this marker. Okay, we'll remove the first marker that we put in. Okay, so I got lucky on this project because my seam is right here, so I don't have to fasten off. I can just start crocheting here and crochet all the way up to the marked stitch. But if your working stitch ended up over here or over there on this side, then you would have to fasten it off and rejoin it along one of these edges somewhere close to your previous seam. But for this one, we're just gonna chain one, and then we're going to crochet one single crochet into each stitch up to the marker here. Okay, so then we're going to do our handles. We're going to make our chains for the handles. And if you want to make little cute handles that you just hold in your hand, in that case, you would just chain however many stitches you're going to skip here and then rejoin it here. But if you want a handle that's long enough to go over your shoulder, you want to do at least 60. You can do more, you can do less, whatever you like. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to chain 60. You want to keep these chains fairly loose. Okay, so that's our 60 chains, and then we're going to skip all the marked stitches in the middle, and we're going to single crochet into the next stitch right after the marked stitch, and we're going to single crochet into each stitch up to the next marker. Okay, and there we are. And once again, we're going to chain 60. Okay, so that's our 60 chains for the second side. And once again, we're going to skip all the stitches that we marked off in the middle here. And we're going to single crochet into the next stitch after the second marker. And we're going to single crochet into each remaining stitch. Okay, so that completes this round, and we're just going to join that with a slip stitch. Okay, and then for the next round, we're just going to single crochet evenly around. So I'm just going to chain one. I'm going to single crochet into each stitch and into each chain around. Okay, so we're up to the chains here, and you can crochet into them whichever way you like, but I like to turn my work, and I like to catch the back bumps. The first one is always a bit tricky, but you can, if you turn it, you can see right there is the back bump. So right there you see the white strand, that's the back bump. Okay, you turn it this way, you just want to go under that and work your single crochet. Oops. There we go. Okay. And then you want to continue to work into each back bump. This way you get the same texture or the little V's on both sides of the stitches. So I'll do one more stitch and then I'll show you. Okay, so you see these V's there. If you turn your work, you have the V's on this side as well. Okay, so we're just going to continue to crochet into the back bumps. Okay, so that's all the chains, and then we're going to crochet into the first stitch right here, and then we're just going to repeat that. We're just going to continue to single crochet into each stitch and chain around. Okay, so that completes round 2, and we worked into the handles and we got the V's the same on both sides, and then we're going to continue for about another 4 rounds of single crochets. So we're just going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet in the first stitch and into each stitch around, and we're going to do that for about another 4 rounds. You can make them wider if you like, but 4 rounds, another 4 rounds here is usually pretty good. Okay, so that's it for this bag. I did another 4 rounds for the handles for a total of 6 rounds. And you can line the back side of it if you like. You'll want to use the same material as when you line the inside of the bag. That way it doesn't stretch out so much, because I find the handles, they'll curl up real quick if you don't line them. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope to see you again in the next video.